And this is going to be my blog post 9. From blog post, I think it is 7, and from blog post 7 and 8 are already being written, as you can see quickly as I scroll down my screen. So I've decided just to go to blog post 9, and in this blog post I created my static AI, which was the last thing that I did functionality, programming functionality wise within my game. And all I did was I created my static AI, and basically I created a trigger box so that when the player would go into that trigger box, it would allow if something would happen, so text would appear. So here, and then we could get interaction with the AI. So here, as you can see, when P is pressed, I'll get an all access from the actor class from the static AI, and then using it gets the information of the static AI using an array. So and then using the array, then it spawns the item from the catalog of items that I have already discussed within the inventory that I showed. So using the interactables. So basically, I'm again reusing code to work with my advantage. I'm using different bits of code to create something else and using that, because I've already created that code, it just helps me create something else that I want to implement anyway. With the static AI though, all I did was I created 2 events, and these events just happen when the player just goes in the trigger box, and these cast to the player. So when the player gets in the trigger box, it'll set the AI to it can talk. So if it goes in there, it talks and it says something, and that something is hello in this case, using this text that I created, and the text would then create the dialogue. And this is just a function I created here, which is just a custom event I just created quickly. It's the same when it then leaves the trigger box, the boolean can talk is set to false. So then there's a new dialogue here saying bye, it can't talk, and again it then creates the dialogue, which is down here. And all the dialogue does, it just updates the text, as you can see from the top here that I wrote. It updates the text when the player enters and leaves the trigger box, as well when the player interacts with the static AI. So it just basically updates. So if I do something else, like if I press P between coming in and coming out of the trigger box and stuff like that, it will create different text basically. So all I did was I rendered some text and created dialogue, which was a text variable I created, and basically I made these visible. And the reason why I wanted to create these, the hello, bye, all these, dialogues, apart from the dialogue itself, not because that's like the main dialogue one. Apart from that, I want to create those visible so that I could change these within Engine. So, for example, if I went to static AI, I went to where is it? Not going to be UI. Is it assets? Nope. Sorry, let me just find it. Static AI. One second, so sorry about this. I just quickly want to show you how I'm using public variables and private variables to my advantage here, and that's just another type of more implementation of different programming principles that I can use, that I've been using within my game. And that's not it. I thought. Anyway, let me just go to the player here, because I can't find it. It should be able to. Is it because it's not the actual player, but it's the trigger box that does it? Yeah. So yeah. Okay. It is the actual player. Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. It is basically the static AI blueprint, and I don't know why it didn't come up. I thought it was, and for some reason it didn't come up here, or I just missed it. So basically, I can type something else here. I can give it an item using this, and this item will allow me to select the different ones I want, and that's what it'll give. And then I can create new dialogue variables, text variables, and make them public and change what I type in here, and the different text will come up with that. So if I go over here with this second static AI, so at the moment I've clicked on this one, and if I click on this one here, you can tell that the text has changed. And this is just a good way of showing different people. I can now reuse this bit of code and create the same static AI blueprint, an actor, and just change the the text within it. So I don't actually have to create new static AI. I'm gonna have to create new sets of text to do this. And it's just a very professional way of doing things, and it's a very good way of using work. My workflow here was very good because it just allowed me to save time, which then as a reward to that, I could focus on creating this level, which in hindsight maybe wasn't the best idea, as the collisions are a bit all over the place. But it does show that creating this, reusability of code allows you to save time, and it's professional enough that you can do other things with it. So yeah, so all I did was create that, and I set the text, and then all I did here was I spawned the item. So it spawns the item, and then it allows you, Boolean, it can talk, and it's an if condition, and that is set to false. If it's true though, it gives it an item, and then this then moves to the dialogue speech I've got here, which is ... And the reason why I've set this up instead of making it a public dialogue variable was because at the moment, all characters, when you give an item, when you stop talking to you talk to them completely, it will say ... And as I'm going to do this, I thought might as well do it to every single one, because all characters aren't going to talk to you, but I still wanted the player to know, to get that, there's nothing else, nothing else to say. So what I did for that, I just did ... and then all I did was create the dialogue, and that's what will happen. If it doesn't do that, basically, so if it does have more things to say, what I did was created a new text variable, and I did set normal item. I made this one public, and I showed before, after I created it, I made it public. I can change it to whatever I want. So funnily enough, I could just change that to give item, and it'd be quite a funny little idea there. So it's just a bit of fun there, but obviously that's just me being silly right now. But it could be something fun here by saying, oh, give item is a normal item. It makes no sense, but it's just an idea of I could do that if I wanted to. and if it gives the item, then it divides into a branch. If it it gives the item, it goes to that ... and or it goes to normal item. If it's false, so if it doesn't give you the item, if it hasn't given you the item, it will spawn the item out of another sphere that I have. So basically, I have a variable of the sphere here, and in the sphere, as you can see, it's coming out of the character, but that's invisible within game. and all I'm doing is spawning the actor of the interactable, and all I'm doing here is setting another text variable, and then allowing the player to then interact with the item. And because of the fact that I've got a trigger box and I've got an interactable there, I can use that trigger. I've used the trigger box in a way where now I don't have to set up more code for the item, because the item code is already implemented. So all I had to do was create the text. So here, all I did was, the new things I did here was I just created I created text variables, and basically again just showing different types of variables that I can use within game. And I also looked a lot into open and closed, sorry, was it called, so I was just saying it just popped out of my head. Private and public variables. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I was looking at using this text, and that's something that's very important, because if you have a public variable in something that doesn't make any sense and you can change within engine, it is kind of using engine. You kind of, there's no need to add that to engine, and you can just close it. So yes, all I did, if you want to find that, it's on the static AI, the blueprint, in the blueprint folders, and that's all you need to find it. That's where it is at the moment, and that's what it does for me. Just spawns the text, and it's open so that you can change it on here. So that's what it is. Alright, so thank you for listening, and I will now move on to my next bit of my next vlogs, which are going to be my second prototype. I finished my first prototype now. I will post all these on YouTube. Thank you for listening, and just to finish this off, there will be annotations of code in a different document, and I will be creating the formative. So I will be creating a copy of the formative review prototype 1 and 2, as well, a written one. So you can have a better idea of where I'm implementing the principles of of programming. So yeah, thank you for listening, and thank you too.